Welcome to another episode of Spotlight. We're live at NEXT Valletta 2026 at the Media Zone, brought to you by Gaming Malta. Very excited to be here, and we're here with Robert from Hizzy.io. Welcome, Robert, to Spotlight.
Thank you for having me.
Robert, I'm keen to get to know you. Before we get into Hizzy, what's your career path been like in the iGaming industry over the last 20 years, I hear?
It's been over 20 years, so I started working inside the industry 2001. I'm from Austria. I started working in Vienna for Bwin. It was very early days in 2001 where everything was a challenge. From marketing to tech, everything was new. And it was I always called it my university. I never went to university. I was 21 or something like this back then. And still to this day, it's more than a career path over so many years. I made so many friends there. I went to weddings of friends. I still work with many of them today. So it's been a journey of career and friendship also. So it's quite married to the whole industry at the end of the day.
That is wonderful. I think, when we think about tech, we miss the human part sometimes. So it's lovely to hear that actually friendship has kept you here and continued to, I guess, build your success over the last 20 plus years as well.
Yeah, I mean, in the beginning, it's when you are 21, you know very little. Yeah, I was an employee for Bwin, and I basically, before that job, I was a software developer. So from the age of 10, I dabbled with PCs and Amigas and this kind of stuff. Developed my own kinds of small games and software. And with Bwin, I became what I would call a technical product manager, really. Okay. Yeah. And in essence, that's still what I do today. I develop technical products for the iGaming solution. So always more on the background side of things, on the backend side of things, on the servicing tools to the industry. And back then, I worked on all kinds of verticals. I worked on casino, poker, sports betting, bingo, multiplayer games, all kinds of stuff. So. And had lots of fun, and didn't know what I was doing back then. I think most people don't really quite know. So that's why I call it my university as well. It was a learning experience, yeah.
Well, you must know what you're doing a lot more now with Hizzy established. So tell me a little bit more about Hizzy and how it came to be.
It kind of came to be over the last 20, 25 years, because back then already in 2001, 2002, 2003, I dealt with games, building the backend, the remote gaming server of these systems, integrating with operators, facing the challenges of latency, facing the challenges of deployment, all these challenges, and sort of that the long arch to today is when we started this company, we looked around in the market, and I was kind of a little bit in shock that after so many years, there isn't this one easy, beautiful company where you just can click, sign up, and have the product on the fly. And so we're trying to be that company where we take away that complete pain of building games from a backend perspective. So we have built the complete box of services, of layers of product that provide the complete experience, not just the core. The core is always the remote gaming server, but that's becoming more and more a smaller component, because it's very simple. It's an RNG with a database and an API, but it's about the services around it to make you run a studio from an operational and technical perspective. That's what we now provide as a complete infrastructure.
Is that what you would consider the difference maker of Hizzy? Would you consider it an all-in-one platform, an all-in-one product?
We're trying to find the wording for it, because the short one is, it's an RGS,
yes.
But really we become part of the partner's tech stack. It's I think the best term we found so far is it's an infrastructure layer.
Okay.
And there's several layers in between. And the RGS component, the core RGS, is one layer of many. So we provide the billing module, the aggregation module, the integration module, the CM module we will provide towards the end of the year. We provide also, that's quite new, we're presenting today on stage, Hizzy Engine, which is a complete no-code engine that allows anyone, you and me even, to build games on the backend side in a reliable and certifiable manner, and that's quite the killer application for the whole system, basically.
How did you identify the gap in the market? You've had experience, a lot of learning over 20 plus years. What was the gap that you identified in the market to make Hizzy what it is today?
It's so what we're launching today is you will be able to sign up online, and everything is seamless. So we're more on the spectrum of companies. We are less iGaming, we're more like AWS. So we are more like the revolution from bare metal to cloud, basically, where everything becomes seamless. You pay with a credit card, and everything is there. Everything is in the back office. You can create your own operators. You can create your own aggregation. You can create your own games inside the back office. Everything is there for the first time, really, in a complete autonomy, self-service manner. And so the difference is in short, logistics to a degree. When you look to build games, you come to NEXT, you come to other conferences, and you find a company that helps you. And it's a very slow, tedious process because you have to find them, they have to find you, then you talk for a few weeks, then you have a contract process which takes anywhere from 2 weeks to 6 months, and lots of back and forth.
Yes.
But really, we wanted to have the AWS moment, basically, where somebody goes to the website, signs up, and done. So you don't have to talk to me. You can, but you don't have to dabble with lawyers for a long time. So that's really the gap, that this didn't exist. And the difficulty is not just having an online form to sign up, but to really think less in service. A lot is service driven, but think more in product, meaning that's a product that can be used by thousands, not by 10 or 15. Now we have what I would call 15 enterprise customers, where we did exactly this. And now we're extending the model from enterprise to a standard and basic module where you can sign up online and build your studio in a day.
Fantastic. So what would you say is the marker of success for people that work with you at Hizzy? What is the success for them? Is it speed to market? Is it something else?
It's hard to say the measure of success. I mean, my measure of success is that they don't email me because they don't have any problems with it, and everything just works.
Yeah.
It's the just works moment. That's really my key internal KPI. That the more we have to communicate, the more we have to to explain. That's the problem, really.
A complex layer.
Yeah.
And so, if we wrapped up, like we were talking about, all in one platform, that sort of marketing angle, how do we position Hizzy? Would it be fair to say that AWS of iGaming is a fair one?
AWS for building real money games, I would call it. Yeah.
Real money games. Yeah. That's an interesting one. So, why was that? What was the real defining moment so far with Hizzy for you identifying?
It's when you have it's. I felt pain. I felt deep pain, and I think it's a wrong in the industry that this doesn't exist, and we're correcting the wrong, basically. It's always certain products are so obvious in the founder's eyes that they feel the pain, they feel the urgency. That's what I feel. And I want to solve this because it's ridiculous. The way it's done currently, it's just actually, after today and after this month, we run a competition this month. After this month, people will look back and say, either it's obvious that should have been done a long time ago, because it will feel so obvious and it will feel obvious to people, like, why hasn't this anybody done before? Because it's just the right thing to do, and also it allows us to scale. It allows us to have not 15 customers, but it allows us to have 500 customers, and we can scale all of them in parallel. So that's what I would say.
And what is this competition that you are running?
The competition we are running is, so we have a launch period now of a month, where we let people sign up for free, actually, right now. Typically we would charge for the sandbox environment where people can sign up and play around, build their games until they're ready. We would charge €500 per month, but we make this free for the month. You can apply for the program, and at the end of the month, people can submit the games they built in this month, and the first one gets 50% off for 12 months of hissy fees, and we will help them launch into production and get to operators.
I'm going to use the buzzword of AI now. So what, if anything, where does AI come into Hizzy.io?
So what we have built, obviously the whole team uses AI coding tools to help, but it's a challenging component. Where AI is really good is when there's lots of data and when the outcome can be creative. So that's why images work really, really great. Lots of data, the output can be very creative. Where AI is tough to use is on something binary, on RTP, on payouts. The thing is, if AI makes one mistake, you don't trust it at all anymore. You can say, well, there's an error rate of 0.01%, but that's too high. It needs to be 0%, yeah? And so the way we have gone about building, for instance, Hitsy engine is, we build everything on a human level, obviously with coding tools, and we build an AI layer on top. That's basically your human helper that can build. You tell it, I want a simple book game, I want a fishing game, or I want an innovative game with using combination of all the features that exist in the market, and it uses the tool, it becomes the power user of the tool, and creates live on the fly a complete backend engine for you. And that's, I haven't seen this before, and because the structure, the way we build it structurally, that under the hood, it's a very, it's a solid system, it's something built by a human. We have end-to-end integration tests, we have end-to-end testing on all kinds of accounts. We have simulation, automatic simulation built in to check the RTP and all the KPIs. So it's guaranteed that the RTP is spot on, it's guaranteed that the KPIs are spot on, so it's not AI slop, that's dangerous. And building, engines that need to be certified for regulators and where studios can be liable for incorrect RTPs, so you can't mess around. So the AI we use for building these engines sits on top and basically pushes the buttons of the entire UI to build those backend engines.
Wonderful. And let's take an ambitious person that's watching this Spotlight episode, for example, and they're not very technically proficient. Can they still be involved with Hizzy?
They can be involved. What we do, we are for game developers, we are for B2Cs, and we are for, somebody can use our system also to build an aggregator. So it's in the main for somebody who has some proficiency on the front end. So where you need to be really strong is on the idea, on the concept, on the selling, on the marketing. This is your 80%. And then obviously, where there's a lot of variance on taste, is the front end is quite tough to do via AI in a reliable manner. So that it always needs to be human who guides it and directs it basically, because there's 1,000 questions, 1,000 steps you do before you have the end game with a human or with AI. So you need to be proficient in some kind of levels of tech to build the front-end layer of the game, but we take away completely the entire backend. So the security that the engine works, we have almost 100 integrations, so it gets you to all the main aggregators, it gets you to lots of the main operators directly, and you have a full management back office to make sure you see all the data, you have all the opportunities for distribution, you can build new engines on the fly, so we take away the whole back office and back-end part of running a studio, we take away from you. We enable everyone to create and distribute real money games.
And how about the support layer from your team to the client, customer, the ambitious person? What support layer do you have to help those ambitious people?
Ideally, we want to have a tool. I mean, it's a path towards it. We're launching the first version today, but ideally, it should be an asynchronous process. Asynchronous means you can work on the things yourself. The documentation is sufficient or perfect, and a lot of the UI and the system are self-explanatory. So yes, you need to be technical, but also, somebody who worked with AWS needs to be technical, but they don't need to understand anything anymore about networking and network cables, about servers in essence, basically. They just click on an interface, deploy an instance, same with us, it's really like a steps change from the early 2000s, how do I get my server into a rack and how do I do this, to like, okay, finally, there's Microsoft Azure, there's AWS Cloud, finally becomes like a factor, orders of magnitude more accessible, basically. Yeah?
I love an intuitive, easy to use platform, so that is something that, from my perspective, I'm keen on seeing it in action from yours. And finally, Robert, my final question to you is, what keeps you passionate and excited about what you do?
Well, I mean, it's like when you see a wrong and you have a chance to make it right, basically, yeah? I look at it, it's blindingly obvious, but it takes time. I mean, we're working on this for a few years, and there's certain things AI can do. AI can build an integration or help you build an integration, but to have over 100 integrations done, you have to deal with things the AI isn't very strong, which is when data isn't available. Because the integration protocols of the various aggregators, you get only via, cooperating with them, basically. We also have an aggregation layer where students can integrate and you can become your own aggregator. That also takes a lot of time, and it's not something you can build up in a second, or in a minute, or in a month, or in a year even, because you need to build those relationships, they need to be willing to integrate, but now we're taking that and giving it to the hands of everyone, rather than locking in. So that has been the theme of the industry. Everybody builds a USP and then locks it in for themselves. Our USP really is, we build it, it's there, but we're opening it up for everyone to use, so we make certain things obsolete. And it's a wrong that this doesn't exist, and we're making it right.
And since we're on Spotlight today, my final question is, if you could shine a spotlight on anything in the industry to clear up a blind spot that people suffer with in an industry or in a profession, what would that blind spot be, and what would you shine that spotlight on?
Outside of my company, you mean, or in the industry, or
something that you're seeing in the industry that is a blind spot for people, things that people don't usually notice in the industry that you think needs to be talked about more?
I think what happened over the last few years, AI is a topic, but also everything became easier because you have all these nice third-party services to build games or to build platforms and so on. You have database systems became easier, logging became easier, alerting became easier, everything became easier. And a lot of the times over the last 20 years, the people who got to build games in the main were the ones who had access to capital in the main. And by having systems like ours, we are unmasking a little bit who are the true heroes, who are the true champions, who are the true builders. Because if the capital goes low, higher capital is no advantage, is no gatekeeper anymore. So the real product people, the real passionate people about games, they will shine over the next year, 2 or 3, a lot more than the ones with the capital, access to the market and so on, because it becomes about the person who's passionate, selling themselves, selling the idea. And I think the AI is not only making things easier, but it's a big unmasking. The people who have been in charge, who have been sort of in charge because they had access to capital, access to some kind of unfair advantage, let's say, that kept them in a certain area, that will be a big unmasking in the next 12, 24 months. And I think especially in games building, this is where we with our product reached a threshold where it became so easy that it's only about the idea, that it's only about the human power of one person, not anymore about somebody giving you permission to do it.
Robert, thank you very much for coming on Spotlight. and I hope that you have a really great time at your session later at NEXT
Thank you.
Valletta, and I hope to see you back here soon.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.